So today is the day we try to stop or at least slow down the leak on this pond. I made a video earlier this spring about our leak, whether it's actually water just leaching through the dam or what we really think it might be is old field tile kind of leaching water away. At any rate, I need to slow the water down before I can start digging over here. We'll take a quick look at the problem area and the flow we have back here, like the TV show, and then we're gonna get busy because it's like 98 degrees, like the boy band, and these muck boots are not the right footwear. For point of reference, there's the beach. The leak is kind of coming through this side right here. The aerator's down there. So just on the back side of the dam right here, or mound or berm, not very much of a dam, ground gets pretty soft. You can see the tire tracks from the grasshopper, and right there some standing water even. Very, very wet. So you can see where the tire tracks start right there. That's all wet where I'm walking. But as soon as you get past these tire tracks here, it dries up. Again, I'll link that other video below, but we suspect there's a field tile kind of leaching water off that pond there. This whole area here over to the firewood is dry. And while the area out here to the right of the pond was wet this spring, it's mostly dry out there now and it's slowed down. So we're gonna ignore that for the moment and focus on this area here. And we are pretty confident that right here, you can see the water bubbling up. This is the exit point of that pipe that we suspect is in the ground. I had found a pipe years ago and smashed it and closed it up. We think there's more. And I'm 99% sure this is pond water because, as you saw in my other video, this water runs blue right after I dye it. So all that water there is coming out of the pond. I don't know if the camera will pick us up, but that down there is definitely blue. So if this works, then the water coming out of that pipe over there by the creek should slow down or stop. And more importantly, and a better telltale sign, is that this area starts to dry up. I actually first learned about this from my buddy Adam at Hometown Acres when he used it. And then I've watched, a ton of videos about it already. Not cheap stuff, but cheaper than, ripping my pond apart. I think it's like 250 bucks for a 4-gallon pail. I have 3 of these, way more than I probably need, but again, if you know me, you know me. Pretty cool stuff. All the little particles are positively charged. And so the idea, or the science, is you throw it in the water, more accurate statements to broadcast it, and it expands, I don't forget how many times its size, turns into like a real slick, globby mess. But these positively charged particles will grab silt, clay, etc. And as the hydrostatic pressure of the water works its way through the leak, it pulls this along with it, turns into a nice waterproof barrier. I'll do a science experiment at the end of this video too that I saw the company, the manufacturer Shalix, did themselves. It seemed like a pretty cool way to demonstrate the product. I will tell you though, this stuff is super slippery when wet. I had this little bit on my hands earlier messing around with it. I rinsed them off and it was just like slime instantly. Also, I got this non-DeWalt looking broadcast spreader, little battery powered guy. It just takes a DeWalt battery. But this should make it easier and more uniform. For reference, I believe each pail covers 1,600 square feet. The consistency of this stuff, I'd say it's like a coarse sand or a fine salt. I don't go too crazy here. Given that this leak didn't occur until this spring when the water came up to its highest point ever, I'm not concerned about getting in the boat and going way out there. The leak we have is somewhere in the first like 5 to 8 feet of the rim of this pond, because up until last fall when the water again came up, or this spring, when the pond got full, it expanded and touched kind of, call it virgin dam that's never been hit before. I feel like Kyle from Spicer Designs would just love this product. I mean, it's his tagline. Damn it. Damn it. I'll throw a link to this guy down below if you want to check him out. It's got a little guard on it. All right, let's go here. Oh, we're gonna need more than that. That's on 2. Let's go to 4. Can live with that. Halvesies, 5. DamIT does have an application rate you're supposed to follow or suggested to follow, but of course this thing doesn't have specific measurements to also, marry it up to the instructions. So I'm just going for it. It's like Olive Garden. Sir, you tell me when on the cheese. I do think this is probably the worst area of the leak too, so we'll hit it pretty good. This is safe for fish, safe for drinking water, so no issues there. If you're skittish about going, is it raining? It is raining. Did I close the lid on that? That'd be a problem. Not supposed to do this in the rain. It's also not supposed to rain. Yeah, they really just said that, you know, a big tidal wave of rain could kind of disperse it unevenly. I will say, if you do this and you get this exact spreader and you're skittish or nervous about running out of material, going through it pretty fast, just for point of reference, having it on number 5, it will go through a container pretty quick. Okay, I've spread what I'm going to spread. I don't know if you guys can kind of see the film that's on the water here or not on camera. Let me go this way and get an angle for you. So despite the aerator out there kind of pushing water this way, it definitely drifted out. You guys kind of see the waves on camera? They're like looks like a film on the water, which makes sense, right? I use about half of a pail, and a pail will do 1,600 square feet. I guess me to the golf cart could be about 80 feet, and I spread it over, you know, about 10 feet or so. So I'm probably close to the application rate. The activation period on this is about 2 hours. So in that 2 hours, it will absorb moisture and sink to the bottom of the pond and begin doing its thing. And it takes 4 to 7 days for maximum activation or leak stoppage. So in this video, you won't see, did it fix the leak, yes or no. I wanted to show you just the application, and I'm gonna go do a little test for you guys, which will highlight that this stuff does work. I think the question for everyone's gonna be, what was your application like? Did you do it by the book? Did you have windy conditions? Was it raining? Did you apply it too light? From what I see online, the science of the product, no question, it works. I'm gonna show you here in a minute. In real world scenarios, that's where you might run into issues. Let's go do our science experiment, and we'll double back before the end of this video and see how the stuff's starting to slime up. Also, any of these fines you have laying around or on here and here, use a leaf blower, air compressor before you just dunk them in water. Save a mess. Here comes the rain. Should be short-lived. But I have this cup, and I drilled like 15 or so holes in the bottom, maybe more, just to prove. You see here, with pond water, got quite the leak. Ooh, it's raining. I better get that stuff out of the rain. I have the worst luck sometimes. Hope that doesn't mess up my application. I'm sure it's fine. Anyway, same cup here. Still see the holes. We're going to fill it with a little bit of number 8 gravel. I'm going to take a bit of wreck sand and fill it up. This should really continue to leak water quite a bit. So now we'll take some pond water here, fill her up. Fill her up real good, make sure she runs. It's taking a minute, bleeding through there. I kind of want to drill bigger holes in it. All right, so I fished some of the gravel out of here. Now we got an all-out erosion going on our hands here. I'll throw some of that stuff in there and see if we can't watch this plug it. All right, it completely drained down on us. So I'm gonna set the cup in the cup holder there. That's what cup holders are for. And literally, I'm going to just take a small pinch of this. This is what they kind of did in their test video. Nothing more than say that. The question will be, will it hold long enough before it rushes out of here? We'll give that some time, see what happens. So here we are, about an hour later. We picked up, I think, 1/10 of an inch of rain or so. So not a gully washer. I'm hopeful that my product kind of stayed where I put it and didn't get pushed off. Time will tell. But I do want to show you guys a couple things here. Only an hour in, and you can see how this stuff works. If you look here, you can see some of the granules that got placed close to the shoreline and how they're turning into a gel. If you can notice on camera, like all the little cube looking deals. And these things were the size of a grain of salt, and now they're these cubes mixed with some clay, but you can kind of see how they gel together. Let's take a look at our science experiment. So here's that cup, and only an hour in, you can really tell how the stuff works and how it's going to work. Turn it this way here. So if we hold it up to the light, you can see kind of a gelatinous mixture there. You can see just how slimy this stuff becomes. It's definitely slippery too. Let's even add a little blue head pressure here and see what happens. Given that that sand is soaked and it's only been an hour setting up, I'd imagine we'll see some water push through here because that sand's wet. But you can kind of see now the water, the gel, the sand, the kind of separation, almost like oil and water. Stuff definitely works. We'll just set it in this cup holder. These cup holders have holes in them. See if we see anything dripping out of the bottom here in a minute. So time will tell whether this works or not. Like I said, we're not going to know in this video. My fear is that it drifted off and didn't apply where I want it, but so be it. It's in the pond. I'll make another application if I have to. I was not expecting that rain. Not sure anyone was. I'm not opposed to draining it and fixing it the right way. If that's truly what's going on, if we have, you know, old field tile going through there, it needs to be broken up and closed, I'll do that. But I'm not doing it in late June or early July. Right now it's prime time swimming season. I want everyone to enjoy this thing. I don't want to have a giant construction zone going over here along with draining this 2 or 3 feet. It looks amazing right now and I want to keep it that way. So if this is just a band-aid to slow the water back here to help keep it full, or if this actually goes the whole 9 yards and fixes it like the company claims, then that's a win as well. So if that is slowed even just a little bit by that application, then I'm excited. I've got 2.5 more pails of that stuff, which means I can do that another 5 times. If I see results right now, then I'm gonna go full speed and knock this thing out, because this is just ridiculous. I really want to get a shovel and just start digging right here, but I'm afraid what might happen if I do. Real soft here. All right, time will tell. See you guys next time. Take care. Oh, and still no leaks. Pretty cool looking.